What is up, Saltcasters? It's your boy Smellsworth. Welcome back. If you're watching this video right now, then it should be occurring to you that we are on a different channel. We have a new Saltcast channel specifically made for this podcast. So the great news is that you get to click the subscribe button again for Saltcast episodes. I mean, you get to relive that incredible moment more than once. And remember, anytime you sub to Smellsworth, a pizza gets its toppings, right? And we don't want pizzas walking around with just sauce and no toppings. It's not natural. It's disgusting. It's not as God intended it. So please help a pizza out. Click that red subscribe button. And if it's already gray because you've already clicked it, please don't unclick it. You've already done your job and I really appreciate you. Or if you do unclick it, click it again. Just make sure it's gray. Make sure it's not red. Red is terrible. It means bad things are happening. This is a super fun episode. We had Lethamyr on the podcast. We get into a lot more personal life stuff with Leth on this discussion. He's been going through some changes outside of Rocket League and making some improvements in his life, and we talked about that. He was gearing up for a road trip with his brand new car, so we talk about those things. And if you're wondering why I'm not talking for a lot of the episode, especially if you're on the audio version, we were getting an insane amount of subs dropped in the channel. I mean, I think by the end of the episode, we had 104 subs, and it's a shorter episode than normal. So it was crazy. I think on total on this particular stream, we finished up with over 130 subs, which is the biggest for my channel that ever. I don't have a big channel yet, so it's a lot of subs. And so, yeah, if you're listening in audio and you're like, Smellsworth is completely absent from this podcast, it's because I'm busy making crazy faces and, you know, freaking out in the background. But anyway, it's still a great episode. I know you're going to enjoy it. I'm going to shut up now. Enjoy the Saltcast with Lethamyr. Put your hands together for my co-host Johnny Boy and our special guest, Lethamyr. What's up, boys?
Lethamyr,
Happy to be here.
looking scary over there.
Yeah.
always with the scary photo. I don't know why they did that. Like when I did that photo shoot on Ghost, they were like, okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna have light on the one side of you and just like look as menacing as possible. It's like, I don't want to look menacing. I look so evil in this photo.
Yeah, they didn't like the other side of your face, I guess. But
yeah, but
as far as I'm aware, they look pretty similar. A pretty symmetrical face. So I really don't know where they're coming from, to be honest.
yeah. I mean, it's sad because it's my best photo. Like it's 8K, so it's like
It's good photo. Yeah,
It's good, crispy.
It's nice.
Yeah. So crispy. Chat real quick. Let's do a quick sound check to make sure we're good for the rest of the ep here. Leth, you want to go ahead and talk?
Hello, 1, 2, 3.
Spam ones if it's good, chat. Spam ones if everything's good.
Johnny?
That should do it, right? Me to tell you.
Yeah. How about me now? Okay, good. Do I sound good?
Yeah,
I sound great.
You sound fantastic.
Yes. Let's flip and do this. Lethamyr,
I'm
thank you for coming on the pod, dude.
Yeah, no problem, man. I'm just posting a little community thing to get some more people hopping in.
Oh, sick.
Perfect. That's what we're talking about.
But I'm happy to be here. It's been a long time since I've spoken to both of you guys. You know, good to catch up.
Yeah. Honestly, you're one of the most requested guests to have on the pod, so it's super stoked to have you here today. And in fact, normally at first I ask what you're salty about, but the first question I wanted to ask is I think we have a lot of followers in common as it relates to Twitch, and I was just curious why they like you so much more than me.
Well, I mean, it's funny as you were doing the intro. Brian is one of my big supporters, so when he sent the 5 get to subs, I was like, "Oh, there's my boy." And he's saying, "Hey, look, there he is in the chat." So and Sparrow as well.
So who got scammed? Is it you or did Brian get scammed? Because I got those subs. Okay, so one of you guys got scammed.
I mean, it's all about it's all about spreading and sharing the love on Twitch, isn't it?
It is.
So,
thank you. Thank you for sharing your whales with me. J squared. 5 gifted, thank you so much. And somebody else, Brian with another gifted sub because he's a psychopath, part of Leth's community. That's awesome. Thank you so much.
You're calling my fans psychopaths now.
That's this is how I treat people that give me a lot of subs. I don't know why. I thought it was funny. Nobody seems to laugh when I do it, but I keep doing it for some reason.
Well, I thought it was funny. So
all right, perfect. That's enough to keep me going. Leth, what are you salty about? Let's get back to it.
What am I salty about? Well, I mean, I can't really be salty about anything. I'm pretty happy with my career in Rocket League. But
Yeah,
if I had to be
what are you
salty about
happy
one
about?
thing,
Oh, well,
is
one
I might
thing.
not make it. I might not make it to 1 million by my birthday, so I'm a little sad about that. But
When's your birthday again?
March 31st. It's tight. It's 21 days away,
Okay.
and I'm at 930K subs.
Mm.
It's a bit of a climb, but
Mhm.
Sunless recently just tweeted out today that he would eat a shoe if I made it to 1 million subscribers.
Really?
By that time, so
Wow.
a lot on the
Okay.
table
cool.
here.
That's cool. What
Yeah,
what
true.
will Brian eat?
I don't know. He'd probably eat subs, honestly, from Subway because he just gives so many.
Oh, I like that. So before we were just chatting immediately before coming live here about why Lethamyr's on a bit of a time crunch today. Do you want to? I mean, some of chat might already know, but what's going on in your life right now? That's
Yeah, I mean,
you're so busy.
life's been crazy, honestly. There's been a lot of changes, but I've been talking about it on my stream once in a while. Whenever I do stream, it's a rare occasion right now. But I'm picking up my car today at 4:30, which has been a long time in the making. It's been like 8 months. I ordered the car 8 months ago, and so we're picking it up.
Yeah.
Pretty excited. I mean, the weather's finally calmed down to the point where there's not salt all over the roads that I would destroy the car in the first day of driving it. So I'm happy that since I'm in Canada, I can finally drive this car.
Nice.
But yeah, I'm getting an LC 500, and I guess we're just going on a bit of a road trip today. I don't know where we're going. We're just gonna kind of drive around and enjoy
Do a
the
couple of
ride.
freestyles, maybe hit some hook
Oh
shots.
yeah, they installed the boost like a couple
Yeah.
of weeks ago, so they've been testing it in the
That's
arena.
probably why it took so long. I mean, your list of customizations must have been through the roof because
Yeah, the
really,
one driver was bronze, so he ended up wrecking the front of the car. It took a bit of extra time, but it's finally ready, and hopefully I can do some crazy freestyles. I'm not known for my mechanics, but
Speaking of freestyling in real cars, do you guys remember? I remember. I think it was like DreamHack Leipzig. No, not Leipzig. It was DreamHack Summer 2018, I believe. Pashy was doing a road trip there in his Mustang.
Oh
And
yeah.
then he tweeted about like how I think he tweeted something like, "Oh, I just love the. Don't you guys just love the autobahn? Because there's no speed limit." And then like I think 30 minutes or 1 hour later, he tweeted like, "My guy's Pashy here just freestyled into a barrier." I was like,
Did he actually hit something?
yeah, he hit a barrier. I was like, I was like, that is just so. That's comical. I mean,
scary.
I feel bad for him, like doing that, because that sounds pretty scary. But the fact that he was tweeting it in this manner made me feel pretty comfortable to be like, okay,
Was the man
funny.
going 140 kilometers an hour tweeting out while he's driving?
I'd like to think he did that before starting, but yeah, it was enough actually to merit Marky Duda tweeting. Marky never tweets, but he tweeted about this. He's like, I've just got to retweet this because it's hilarious. He like took a screenshot of both tweets. Yeah, but Pashy was all right. So, yeah, I think his car got repaired or something. But
That's crazy. Who knew that Germans could be funny? That's amazing.
yeah, just don't tweet anything like that, Les. It's had bad.
Oh no, of course not. I'm a responsible driver. Honestly,
they've got speed limits in Canada as well, right?
Yeah, it's 100. They're thinking of moving up to 110 kilometers an hour on the main highways, but it's not like super high. I still think that 3-lane, 100, 110, 120 is a pretty good idea. But we have a huge problem with like overpopulation on our highways. They're trying because we have like this weird toll highway that's like a little bit more north, and they're trying to get it so that trucks don't have to pay for that, so they stop using the main one and clog up our system. But yeah, I'm excited to just drive the car. I mean, it's a 10 speed, so it's not like anything crazy. I probably won't use the manual too often, so I won't go overboard. It's a pretty modest car. It's just a nice sound and stuff and a good drive.
So yeah, that's gonna be awesome. This is something I like. Matt, you don't have a car. I don't have a car, so we're like very city center where we both are. I don't know what.
Yeah, I've been near you. I've been actually at your.
Yeah, you have been very near to where I actually live right now. You're like, I don't know if you remember Leth came to Glasgow, Scotland for 12 Titans Year 2. I don't know if you remember the corner, the streets that had the 4 fast food restaurants, like KFC and Tim Hortons or whatever. That was where all the pros went for their food. I was like, I can't believe this. Out of all the restaurants, they're all just going to the food court, the food that they know about already. I was like,
we did have a good dinner that one night though at that one bar place. That was good.
Yeah, we did. I managed to persuade them to not go to McDonald's one time. We had a good time. Actually, there was one story.
Where's my fries?
Yeah. Everybody was like, right, Scrub, you're paying because you won the money. But
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you one thing, or I wanted to remind you of one story that I can't ever forget from this trip to Glasgow for 12 Titans, and that was when you went to McDonald's by yourself, I think, in the
Oh no.
morning. Or yeah, do you want to tell chat what happened? Because
Uh,
it blew my mind. Listen, somebody who lives in Glasgow for a long time, knows what Glasgow's like, but then you obviously this is your first time being there. And
well,
maybe
no,
it's my
no. So
fault
like,
for not
actually,
really
there's
doing
a bit
that.
more to that too,
Uh-huh.
because like I didn't trust it, but there were police officers like one seat next to me. Like,
You need to tell the whole story. You need to tell them exactly what
yeah.
happened here.
So
Give them
like,
context.
I'm Canadian, and people don't like. I don't leave stuff around in Canada either, 'cause people do steal things. Like, but
Mm,
I like to think that people are pretty honest when there's people around. Um, at least in Canada, when there's like every seat was filled in this Glasgow McDonald's on the second floor,
yeah.
and I had my little like briefcase bag thing with my laptop, and he didn't steal the laptop, by the way. So it was like a semi honest guy that was just like. So I had a bag of all my converted money. This is all of it, by the way. So I had none after the fact. I go to the
Yeah.
bathroom to wash my hands after I eat my breakfast at the table. There are police officers across the table, like just over there. I'm like, okay, I'm pretty good. They'll see if anyone
Yeah.
suspicious just walks up. I come out, my bag of all my money is gone, but my other stuff was there. Like, I was so glad my passport was still there, like all that. So I didn't really care
Yes.
Right.
about the
Yeah.
money. Like
Yeah.
at the end of the day, it could have been a lot worse. So I was like,
Mhm.
but then
I was
they
like,
they
the probably police stole the money. They're like, they probably once you did it, they're like, just can we grab that? Like, I was like,
no. So there
oh
was a guy. Like, there's
no.
this little pole by the door to the bathroom, and there was a guy chilling there. He must have walked around and like
Yeah.
gotten it and left. But there wasn't any CTV or CCTV footage of the upstairs, so there
Mhm.
was no luck.
Rip.
Uh,
And they're not gonna catch that. They're probably not gonna have any shot of
They'd get
ever
you that
finding
way
that dude.
in Paris too, to be honest.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I was dealing with emails between the police for, like, 2 months after the fact. They were like, "Oh, yeah, we're still looking for the guy,
Yeah.
no update." And, they actually found the guy.
Wait,
Really?
actually, what?
Yeah, yeah,
Really?
2 months later, I got an email saying, like, "Yeah, we found him, so thanks for your help," and the description of anybody you saw upstairs and stuff, which is
Wow.
pretty crazy. 'Cause
That
I
is
guess
pretty
they must
crazy.
have found, like, CCTV footage of the guy walking
Yeah.
down the steps to the main floor.
There's still a
But
shady guy leaving with with a pile of money.
a little plastic baggie of money. Yeah, but that was definitely an interesting experience. Definitely learned something about. I've traveled a lot. Like I've definitely been pretty safe,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I've learned that even if police are a foot away from your table, so
Well,
still
especially
hold on
some
to
other
it.
countries, police are not the people you trust anyway. Like, my girlfriend's from Bulgaria. When we go there, we'll be driving, and so you just see police pulling people over, and we'll know that okay, that person's probably just been told that. Well, we can either give you a fine for having a broken tail light, which will be 200 of the local currency, or you can just give us 80 right now and we'll let you go. And they just like to accept bribes. They're just like openly
Wow.
accepting bribes all the time. So yeah, the police are really not someone
Yeah,
you
if
can
you
trust.
try to bring that up in Canada, you get fined even more because it's like actually like a felony to do that in itself.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
try to agree on that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's massive corruption, so I wouldn't trust. I mean, in most places in Europe, you don't even need cash. You just pay with card. In fact, in Sweden, I remember like everybody who brought cash couldn't find anywhere to use it. Like for DreamHack Summer,
Right.
they couldn't even find anywhere that would accept the actual currency of Sweden. In fact, like you'd go in with your money. And I didn't have any, but some of my friends had Swedish krones, and they went in to like buy food, and the people were just looking at them like, what are you going to do with that?
What are
Like,
what
get
are you
out of here.
doing?
Clearly, you're not from here, else you wouldn't have our currency. Like, they just are cards.
Yeah, so
Everything.
for speaking of cards, like I don't know if it's like similar for you guys, but for us, like we can use our cards in different places as long as we tell our company, like our Visa company or whatever.
Oh,
We
yeah?
have to like phone in and be like, yeah, don't because they'll lock you out the second you see like one purchase, and sometimes
Really? For
the
something
one
you
purchase
haven't
won't even go
told them
through.
you're going to buy, you need to tell them what you're going to buy and to let you buy
Yeah,
it?
your account goes on like Travel Watch or something, and it like
Ah.
and sometimes you can get away with it. What I usually do is I like to buy like something small at an airport, like a coffee, and then
Yeah.
I buy a coffee at the airport I arrived in, and usually that helps track the
Yeah, yeah.
visa, and they
True.
usually go, "Okay, that's fine." So
Yeah,
it's
you
my
say in
mom
that
taught me
country.
that.
Yeah, that's smart. That's very smart.
Yeah, because I think I got the first Leipzig I went to, I got locked out.
That sucks.
Yeah, I had to go to a bank
That
that was foreign
sucks.
and like trade out the money and stuff. It was a pain, but yeah. So I learned my lesson there. My mom was like, "Yeah, make sure to buy coffee and
Yeah.
we'll phone ahead and stuff."
Germany's hard actually. Their ATMs don't even work with a lot of very like common international bank cards like Visa didn't work in Germany. Their
I was
ATMs
actually
are like
happily
non-functional.
surprised at how much English there was there though.
Oh yeah,
Like,
Germany.
Yeah. Germany's pretty
Germany's easy.
very
yeah.
multicultural. Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, a
Speaking of
lot of those
travel,
kind of areas like Germany, Netherlands, they speak a lot of languages because they're all so close. Like they all just learn German, they learn Dutch, they
right?
learn English. They probably learn French as well growing up. Like they're very, very good at languages. Something I'm definitely envious of. I wish I was better at like relevant languages. I only speak English and Scottish Gaelic, which is everybody who speaks it also speaks English, so it doesn't actually help me in any way with.
What are you guys' opinions on like a universal language? I don't even care if it's English. I
Mm.
just think that like that would be very good as a society to
It would be
think
nice,
of.
but I don't think the French would ever allow it to be English. They
I
would protest that forever.
I think it'll be facilitated by AI, probably
Yeah.
Yeah,
by
there you go.
devices, by wearables. I think that's how it'll be facilitated before like all humans get their
Yeah,
shit
I mean,
together.
honestly, we're getting to the point where when you speak your words, it immediately can be translated into the language
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
listen to.
some Uber drivers have done this in foreign countries. Matt, do you remember the guy in Beirut? He was just like speaking Arabic
that
to
was not very smooth though.
yeah, he kept messing it up. Like he was trying to make conversation. This Uber driver in Lebanon was trying to make conversation with us, and he was speaking Arabic. You just like say something in Arabic to the dash, and then it would just come up on the
Yeah.
iPod. But everything that came up, we're like, what on earth is he trying to say?
And then our
We're like,
friend Tristan would jump in and say the weirdest shit back to him, and I'm like, dude,
Yeah,
this
he
is
would-
not the time, bro. We're trying to get
he
home.
would-
We're trying to get home.
Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, we got to get into some Rocket League oriented
Sure,
lab
dude,
stuff
yeah,
because I just say this because we have a limited timeline. We'll have you back for sure sometime, but can you talk just a little bit, actually, just like briefly about your beginning in Rocket League? What was that like? Like, how long was it before you thought you'd take it seriously?
Sure. Yeah, of course. I mean, I've said this quite a few times, like about my story about how I got into like competitive games, and it definitely started like local couch multiplayer, Call of Duty, all that stuff. Like back as a kid, it was definitely like Halo and GoldenEye because it was, I'm a boomer, but I say Call of Duty for the newbies who
How
don't know
boomer
about those
are
old
you?
games.
How boomer are you
Yeah.
again?
I'm 25.
Oh,
So as far as like Rocket
Fine.
League goes, that's
Yeah,
ancient. I know you guys are both
you're
older
fine.
too.
yeah.
But
What? No,
That's it.
older
That's
too.
it. 30, mate. So
Older
feeling
too?
very old.
I'm gonna be 37 next month.
Oh,
How dare you?
I mean, we're all boomers. We're all boomers at
I
heart.
should be
Rocket
getting
League,
Social
yeah.
Security in your world, basically.
Yeah.
Although
But
to
yeah,
be fair,
so
25 is like where you start seeing time goes past a lot quicker. So
oh
your
yeah,
lives can fly.
definitely. I think I've like grown more in the last 3 years than I have in the past 22 before then. But so I started off like playing competitive, and I could definitely tell that like I don't know if you have a gifted program in your education system, but I went through the gifted program, and I definitely like picked up things really quickly. So I always liked games because it helped kind of level out my ADHD OCD brain. So I would play those and like really help accelerate my learning. And so I got into a lot of competitive stuff. Like I did League of Legends and got to the highest rank in that, and then CS:GO I played for a year or so before then. And then my friend in university at the beginning of third year said, "You got to play this game with like soccer and cars." Like this sounds so stupid, man. Why would I play? Why would I play that
Yeah.
game? And he's like, "No, just give it a try." So I downloaded it in, I think it was November of 2015, but I didn't play it until because it was on sale, so I got it when I was a broke student. And I didn't play it until February of 2016, and I was hooked. My friend and I were playing doubles for a month or two, and we got into like silver when silver was like the second highest rank. There was like bronze, silver, gold. But I was addicted,
Yeah.
and I kind of went behind my friend's back and started playing on my own. And then the next time he met up with me,
Yeah.
like 2 days later, I was like, "Yo, I'm gold too." And he's like, "What?"
Why could you do this to me?
Left behind.
Yeah, we were like
Yeah.
staying at the same rank the whole time, and I was like, I had an itch to play, and I played until like 5 a.m. the one night, and I was like,
Yeah.
I just kept playing. It's actually a funny story. That night, I met Lumen, who's now the
really?
manager of Esports for Fortnite. Yeah, I met him. He was Twitch streaming. His name was his twitch.tv/Lumen, and we became really good friends, and we teamed up for a little bit. And he was like the first player I really met. Next one was Squishy. Funny enough.
Oh yeah. Like
Yeah.
in ranked, you mean?
Yeah, so we met in ranked, and then he was like, "Yo, I've got a player that like is looking for a team, and you might know of him. His name is Gabriel,
Yes.
corrupted G." And that's
Mhm.
kind of where the story started. Like, I was playing with Lumen and a couple random people to try and make a team, but I got kind of my name kind of got around to Squishy, and he was telling me about Gabe, and then we started to back when he was on like I think it was Brace for Impact was his name, was the name or something
Mm.
like Impact something. But yeah, and then we got King Randy on there as the first squad for Phoenix Infinity, which
What
is
season would that have been? Was this like RLCS 1 or before that?
pre-season. We ended up
Preseason.
playing in the first. There was like 2 quarters of RLCS one.
Yeah.
We were so by the time we got into the qualifiers for qualifier one, it was me, Nexate, and Gabe, and we
Mhm.
were power ranked at like rank 10 in North America at that time. I think right 9 or 10. And there was Vex, which was like Garrett G era
Yeah,
of like
Garage's team.
J Raw and Turtle. Funny story, we actually got into the qualifying round for quarter one, and or not quarter one, whatever you want to say, whatever you want, quadrant one. I don't even know what it is, but
Split one, I guess.
yeah, it was called Q1. I don't know why, but
Yeah, it was.
um,
Yeah.
but so we ended up facing Vex in the qualifying round to make it into the one of the 8 teams. And what ended up happening was in game 5, our Discord disconnected.
Oh no.
It's not an excuse, obviously. They played really well. They like bopped us that game, but our Discord disconnected for like one of the goals, and we were like kind
Yeah,
of salty
that's
about
still
it.
you
But
feel awful about that. I mean, little things like this, even if you're not using it as an excuse, it sucks when that
it
happens.
is a little sour, sweet, like
It sucks.
bittersweet. But they definitely
Yeah.
deserved it. They played really well in that first quarter,
Mm.
and that's sort of like it's kind of a cool storyline because it's like Garrett GB kind of came
They
up
went
from that
places. Yeah, they were
exactly.
like. I mean, it's no shame. They went on to great, bigger and better things that season after just getting in. They went really, really far.
Yeah, I
So
have no doubt in
yeah.
the world that no matter how that qualifying round went, he would have ended up where he is because he's just
Mm.
so solid. But yeah,
Yeah.
so it was a cool event though to first time ever trying to compete for something, and we end up almost making it, and
Mm.
and then we kind of stuck it through a little bit. I kind of moved around, and I don't really know. It's weird because you say like, oh, when did you think you could be pro? I get that question a lot, and it's like back in the day there was no pro, so how do we know?
Musty's probably DMing you that all the time. It's like, so how do you know? Like, how pro did you feel? Like, how pro am I?
Yeah, there you go.
He's trying to find out like what that transition phase is like. He's trying to figure out where he is in this. You actually mentioned there you played League of Legends to a very high level. I was like just interested personally. What did you play? Like, what was your role in League? You
So
made?
it's actually interesting. I kind of moved all around. Like I first
All
saw
right. Okay.
ADC was a start because it's like sort of the newbie, just damage
Yeah, it's just
dealer.
like
You know,
very. You just focus on getting good at the game because the character is like so
yeah.
basic
So I
and stuff.
focused on
Yeah.
mechanics, and then I realized that there was a lot more of a skill ceiling in top and jungle.
Mm.
So I mostly played back when like Gnar was a thing, like when he first came out.
Oh,
That's the
really?
start. So I was like a
Gnar.
main of Gnar, and I literally won like I think 95% of my games. Like that's how I
I bet you
accelerated
did.
up into Challenger.
Gnar was something. Yeah,
So when
I
he
kinda
first
stopped
came
playing
in,
when that came out. I was, like, moving on to other games, and Gnar started becoming a thing.
yeah, that's sort of when I stopped. Like Gnar came out, and that was probably the newest character that came out after I
Yeah,
played
yeah.
him ever since he came out, and then I kind of like left the game when Rocket League came around. It was sort of around that time period for sure.
Right. That's cool. So you were, like, doing the 3v3 thing pretty steadily, and you just, like, gradually seemed to be improving. You had lots of results coming in.
Yeah.
You also, I think, like, started making a name for yourself in 1v1 around about the same time. Um,
Yeah, yeah. I
how
mean,
did that come
I
about?
never really had like super great success in competitive 3v3. Like definitely season 4 with Ghost was like the best I ever did like on a team. But as you guys know, I have a very like clear and concise way of thinking in Rocket League, and I
Yeah.
don't think that translates well to a team at all times unless you actually fully gel. And I don't like no obviously no harm to my teammates like, but I don't ever felt like I fully gelled with the team I ever had.
Yeah.
Um but that's very common in Rocket League. You have a way of thinking, and it's very, you need to be like the chemistry needs to be there, and that's sort of like what energy looks like. Is like they're like 3 hive minds, um,
Yes. Yes.
and I've always wanted to like find people of similar thinking, and I think that's why I resonated with Cookser so much. Like especially at the
Yeah, yeah,
that
yeah.
second 1v1 event, we talked for hours about our way of thinking, and it's so similar and kind
Mm.
of spooky actually how we see the game. And it was really cool to, if you were a fly on the wall of that conversation, it was just like wild to hear the way we see the perspective of the ball and behind the, trying to hide
Yeah,
behind it
yeah.
and stuff. And
That's
Yeah,
interesting. You sound like you're NA Flakes right now. Well, kind of, because Flakes is got a very similar kind of mindset to just trying to. He's got very like ideal way of how he thinks the game should be played and how he wants to play the game. And I guess that was for you what made 3v3 kind of limited, because it was hard to play to what you felt was your full potential.
Right.
When
At the same
being this
time, though,
1v that's different.
I would say that because of how Flakes plays, that he's sort of limited in threes, and the fact that like if you play too slow, I understand that playing too slow, you're gonna get caught out and just be stuck on defense.
Yeah, too easy to read. Yeah.
So I've definitely like back in the day when everyone was kind of crap at the game, I definitely took more advantage of taking control, and that's sort of what I was known for, was just like taking my time and making those dribble plays, like even on like players like Justin back in the day. Like when no one could really defend those because no one like double stacked offense on those dribbles. But I definitely am always open to changing the meta like of my own play while still using my forward thinking and like my brain rather than my mechanics.
Yeah. Although your mechanics are definitely like they're no slouch. Like, I mean, I'd say you're very good at like the what people would consider the simple mechanics, or I guess the fundamental mechanics. Just shooting, first touch,
Right, exactly.
ball
Like,
control,
small
air,
power stuff.
just hitting powerful hits in the air. Like, just getting effective touches is step one to being a good mechanical player. Just being fast, getting into the game quickly, and just being in the right place. Like
For
all
sure.
that, you don't need to do one freestyle. Like, you don't need to do one flip reset. You don't need to do any of that.
Yeah,
like,
I don't really do
right
move set.
there.
That's the big thing. Is like when people on Twitch or something say like, "Oh, do a triple flip or double flip reset or like do a musty right now." It's like I don't do that.
Yeah.
More like, okay, what's the best thing I could do right in this moment when my car is in a certain position? Like I don't think, okay, now I'm gonna do this move set that I've practiced 100 times. It's more like use my muscle memory and my instincts and game sense to understand. Okay, if I flip at this exact moment, that's gonna be the most power I can get and probably the biggest way to throw off the opponent. I've definitely been like practicing more of that. Like I've been doing double flip resets pretty consistently now. Ever since Mercy challenged me.
I saw Mercy's challenge. Yeah, that's got you doing them.
And I honestly got pretty close in that one try. I did. But I realized, you know what? Maybe I should just practice those once in a while and try to get more mechanics like that. Because like I understand the car pretty well, that I can sort of pull more of that in. Maybe not do move sets like I said, but like sort of have more improvisation in the air. It's definitely helpful.
Yeah, I mean, flip resets are definitely like they're so unique because they just give players something that previously, like years of Rocket League, were practiced. Where players, they only have a flip for a certain amount of time, then ceiling shots come around, flip resets come around. Now players have flips where previously it was not possible to have flips, so everything changes.
It's also funny if people keep asking, like even someone in the chat said, "Ask Leth if he can do a speed flip." I don't know if they don't watch me or something, but like I speed flip half the time. It's sort of like an act of laziness. I don't really care to go super fast on the kickoff and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm a big advocate of also like I know my viewership, like my audience is in a wide range of skill, and I don't want to. I want to show that it's possible to do the things you can do like at a SSL level without having super big mechanics, and I think that's like huge to help keep the community growing, because you can definitely scare off players if like it's too demanding, and showing people like that you can still be at that level while thinking ahead in the game and thinking about it as like a chess match instead of checkers. I think that's really cool, and people definitely like see that in my gameplay.
You should do like Gibbs used to do a series playing with potatoes where you try and like get the rank up without jumping or something. Maybe don't go that extreme, but try and hit
I actually got in
SSL.
trouble from Psiotics.
Oh really? Did you do one of those?
No. So in my road to SSL, I admitted to throwing 27 games with someone. I didn't throw like with other people. I definitely made a mistake. It was definitely on me. I used my girlfriend's account, partied up, and like I wanted to start the road to SSL in bronze to help bronze players.
Yeah.
I couldn't figure out a way to do it. I was like, how do you? Because if you win, or even if you like win or lose half your games, you get in like silver or gold. So I wasn't
actually
sure.
Start bronze. Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost like I need to borrow someone's like bronze account, but then that could be called boosting. So it's like almost like there's no way to do it. So
yeah, I don't know what I mean, I guess I can see they don't really want people to be doing that, but I don't really see why there's an issue if you're just like if you own both accounts, or you and a friend are playing and you're just losing on purpose. I know Alpha and Fairy did this. They were like rank 1 and 2 in 2v2. They couldn't get a game. So they just like queued up together and they lost 20 games in a row on purpose because then they could stream actual gameplay instead of streaming 30-minute queue time. Like they just wanted to play Rocket League. So
Right.
I
So
don't.
according to
I
the
don't have a
code of
problem with that.
conduct, that's actually not allowed. And I think that it's because of like the fact that you're technically boosting the opponents slightly
Yeah.
every match. So I totally get it. I mean, I was the first person to be messaged about it, but they said I'm by no means the only person that they're concerned about.
I feel like that's kind of flawed, though. I don't know if I agree with that. I mean, if it's in the code of conduct, it's in the code of conduct. Like that's just a fact. But
Right.
I don't really see it. I don't see it personally. I don't think that's much of a problem.
I mean, I
I've
definitely had
never
no
really been somebody who
malintent.
hates
I did speak to them. They
Yeah, of
were
course,
all
yeah,
good
yeah.
about it. But
Yeah.
you know, I won't do it again. I'll definitely like there's certain gray areas with content like that you try to do for
Ask them
entertainment
to just
purposes.
give you a bronze account. Be like, hey, okay, you don't want me to do this? Can you give me a bronze account, please? Because I want a bronze account so I can show people how to play in bronze. Like,
Yeah,
what you
I
can do.
definitely feel like in the road to SSL, I try not to just pop off. I play at the rank that I'm trying to, you know, like I try
Yeah,
to play one
yeah.
rank above it for sure.
I mean,
Um,
this happens in every game. It's like every game that has a rank ladder. It's happening. I mean, I've been watching a lot of chess recently, and even the chess players do. They just start a new account and they blitz through everybody, just annihilating all these low-rated players. And then
sometimes I
one thing that
imagine like you're Dwayne the Rock Johnson with like a bunch of like little like you know one like grade one
yeah,
soccer
you're just like
players.
annihilating people. Yeah, you know, one thing that I see, I think what they do in chess, because I've watched a couple of these chess like speed runs to certain ratings by super grandmaster players. What they
Yeah.
do is that the website will be informed beforehand that speed run is going to be happening, and they just refund all the points, like all the points that are being taken away from players by the guy who's ranking up in your account. They get refunded. So yeah, you
Really?
lost.
That's
50,
interesting.
yeah. So what you
Yeah,
could
it'd be really
do in
cool if I
1v1
could
and to
like
get Psyonix to give you a bronze account, tell them, hey, everybody I beat, make sure refund their points, and then nobody loses. They just gotta be a part of a video, and they still gotta keep their points.
that's a good idea. I wonder if there's some sort of exploitation with that, like in their system.
Yeah,
If they did that,
less like right now. Oh my goodness, there's got to be a map for that. I'm gonna go write that.
yeah. Honestly, speaking of maps, actually, I've taken a bit of a backseat on that.
Oh yeah,
It's been a bit of a grind, and
I
I
can
had a
imagine.
moment of reflection in my life, like 2 months ago. I don't want to get too personal, but I was obviously doing way too much that a human being should be doing in a day, like work
yeah,
wise. But with the pandemic, I was like justifying. I was like, okay, um, I got nothing better to do, so let me work
yeah.
like 16 hours a day sometimes. But I definitely it definitely took a toll on my relationship with my girlfriend, and not like directly intending to, obviously, but we're kind of in a bit of a rut. So we took like a month break, and now we're back together, and it's definitely been a lot better because I've reflected on the fact that making maps isn't like everything,
Mm.
and sometimes like I would make a map and spend like 40 to 80 hours on it, and it would perform just as well as me just jumping into 3 ranked games for 20 minutes and be like, you know what,
Yeah,
here I
yeah,
Yeah.
am.
Yeah.
yeah.
Like, why am I putting all this time into it? Like, obviously, I do enjoy, bringing something that someone else can play, and it's physically something that someone can enjoy,
Mm.
which is why I did it. But I've made over 80 maps now. I think it's time that I slow it down
Yeah,
a little bit.
you could chill. Yeah, that's fine. I think that's
Yeah.
fine. Did your girlfriend come back from break and she's like, actually, honey, I'm going to start making maps with you?
No, so well, we've been together for over 3 years now, and
Mm.
and she's obviously been a huge supporting role in my career in this, and I've always appreciated her, being open to what I do, and we both work from home, so it's been a bit tough. Like it's so hard. Like you realize that distance really does make the heart grow fonder,
Oh, yeah.
because like when you live with the person all day and then you work a room next to them, how are you supposed to catch up on your day with them?
It's
Oh,
so
what'd you do?
dumb.
Oh, I was on the computer. I was
Yeah.
working. Oh,
Yeah.
you were doing hospital charts? Oh, okay, cool. Like there's not much to catch up on. Like you realize that some of your day, like when you go to work and you have these stories you can tell, and that's like sort of something you can reflect on as a couple,
Yep.
that helps. And so
Definitely.
right now she's living back with her family, and it's been good to have some days off where we can come back and talk about what we did,
Yeah.
separately and stuff.
For sure. I mean, yeah, like it's just hedonic adaptation as well. Like, like if you eat a fucking donut every 3 minutes, donuts no longer taste good. There's distance between the donut. The further the distance between the donuts you eat, the better it tastes.
It's inversely proportional.
Yeah, and your brain actually release like the more donuts you eat, the less serotonin your brain releases every time. So actually, it tricks you into thinking it's going to be just as good as the first time, and it's not.
Right.
And yeah, a level of independence in relationships is super healthy. It's always finding that balance, and sometimes you'll err more on the side of too much independence and you're working too hard, and then you come back for like a recharge moment. So yeah, it's good. That first off, I think it's cool that you're talking about it, because you're also in a huge upswing, right? You're growing a lot. And I think a lot of people would be like, what the hell? He's growing a lot and he's like taking his foot off the gas and whatever. But you're realizing that, some of these things are more important. It's good. I think it's good that you're talking about it. It's a good example.
Yeah, I think it's definitely great that I realized that at 25 and not 28 3 years later, where I've burnt out
Or
and
37, right?
lost steam or whatever. Yeah, whatever time it is or age. But I kind of set unrealistic expectations for myself, that like unrealistic pressure. Like Stale just said, one of the chatters in the Twitch chat here. He's a big fan of mine and a good friend of mine. He's saying that like, people would come into chat and be like, "Oh, when is this map coming out?" And I'm like, I don't have a deadline. I don't like to set them because it just stresses me out. But I would kind of put unrealistic deadlines on myself, like, okay, I need to get this map out, so I can record a video for it. But it's not, it's not realistic. And
I think that's a trap a lot of content creators fall into, especially when they have some momentum going. It's hard like to stop and look after yourself, because people think, oh man, I've got like all these subs coming in, all these views coming in. I better just keep doing what I'm doing as fast as humanly possible. Because the worst thing, I think it's kind of the fault of Twitch, YouTube, all of these platforms, because especially YouTube, when you look at your Creator Studio app, it just shows you a big like red, arrow down if your video didn't perform up to the average that your last videos did. And I'm like, who cares? Like, well, I mean, for me, I've done this for 5 years, so I'm past that. I've had like ups, downs several times. I've had record views, record lows, record high, averages for long periods of time. Like experienced all that, and I realized throughout the entire thing, it doesn't actually matter. It can be a good motivator, but at the end of the day, it's not the priority. The priority is looking after yourself, trying to be a positive like influence in your space, and just having a good time. So like,
yeah, I'm glad that you mentioned
that. I gotta blame YouTube and Twitch. I don't look at stats when I'm streaming. Don't look at view count.
I've learned to put the back pedal on that too, because with doing daily videos especially, you can't expect every video to be above the average or like on the upwards. You got to kind of be just happy where you're at, and I'm definitely happy where I'm at. Like I'm very thankful for the support of the fan base and the community in this game. I couldn't be happier, and it's weird because your brain gets into this weird mentality where it's like, oh, it's 10 out of 10, which in YouTube terms that means the worst out of the last
video. Yeah.
But that 10 out of 10 3 months ago would probably be a 1 out of 10 out of the park. Like,
yeah, still a lot of people. Like for you especially, I mean, your 10 out of 10 could still be like a 250,000 like in 24 hours, or I don't know. I've not.
Yeah, exactly. Like numbers, so my 10 out of 10 like
people.
lately,
it's crazy.
Yeah, I challenged Arsenal to see who's better at hoops was my 10 out of 10, and right now 3 days ago has almost 200K, and it's like, okay, I've realized
that's a lot of people. You can't fit that many people in the biggest stadiums in the world for any sport.
Not even Sipical can carry Arsenal that hard. Right?
Yeah, so like
right,
I've definitely my emotions were I definitely realized my emotions were swung on how well a video did that day.
Yeah, it sucks, right? It's not something you really want to think about, or not something you want your mood to be affected by. Because if you put like all this work and all this effort into a video, and especially map making, where you've spent hours and hours making the map in the first place, then you record the content, then you upload it, and it's that like work that you put in, and that effort and that enjoyment. That's what I think is the important thing to focus on.
Yeah.
Not how many people watch the video, because you have no control over how many people watch the video outside of like making a good thumbnail and trying to make the content good. But that whole process is the enjoyable thing, for me at least. When I'm making content, it's the process that I enjoy, and seeing how it does is kind of like just a direction that I'll use. Like think, okay, maybe I shouldn't do that again in the future, but it doesn't take away from like the process you've already gone through. It's like, you got to like try and prioritize what you can actually control. When it comes to
the YouTube algorithm, you're at the mercy of the YouTube algorithm, and there are people like Mertzy who put one video out a week, and if that video doesn't do well, it's so monumentally like it's ridiculous like how the algorithm could just screw you over in that way. But I'm just kind of riding the wave. I'm still keeping up with the daily videos. It's not hard to, keep on a good schedule. I'm been waking up around like 9, 8, sometimes 8 o'clock in the morning, and
Mm.
make a coffee and record videos at 11 a.m. I definitely asked my like buddies that I record with to like help me out a little bit instead of recording at 10 p.m. like later at night, and
Yeah,
leave the evenings open so that I can spend more time with Shannon or my family and stuff. So definitely
smart.
done a
Yeah.
lot of
Are you
working around.
skewing more towards YouTube then than Twitch? Are you preferring to just do like sort of like offline content rather than live?
Right. So I think that that's why I've taken a break from streaming. It's not that I'm not going to stream. It's just that I've been taking the time to, fix my schedule and really get an idea of what space I have to stream and where my, stream's going to fit into that. So I've
Mm.
definitely like I definitely should have been streaming more. But at the same time I definitely needed the break. And now that I've fixed my schedule, like around this time would probably be when I'm be streaming, and I'd probably finish my day around like 4 or 5 o'clock.
Right.
Yeah.
Like a normal 9 to 5 sort of thing.
That's cool.
Setting myself a schedule is definitely important because it's definitely hard too, though, because sometimes content requires you to be up late, especially with like pros who play late or
Especially
like
in Europe.
yeah. So like
yeah, for sure.
it's hard to always follow that, but Shannon's understanding of that, and so we're gonna keep an eye on like scheduling and I'm gonna be like okay, I've got this day open. This day I'm gonna be on like a podcast or something. Like we're gonna be more
Mm.
proactive about communicating between each other, like where I'm gonna be busy and stuff.
Yeah, I think that's really important, especially in a relationship, to just tell your significant other, "Oh, so this is the day I'm doing absolutely nothing. This is the day I'm recording." And then they could be like, "Cool, I'm going to plan to do something on the day you're busy." Because a lot of people, even it's not even just in relationships, but like friends, and like people who live together. If their schedules aren't aligned, and then suddenly last minute you're thinking, oh, well, you ask someone that you're thinking you're going to hang out with, oh, what are you up to tonight? Thinking they're going to say nothing, then they've actually got plans, and you're like, oh, I've got no
Yeah.
plans. So it just sucks. So it's just about communication, really.
Exactly, and
In any
and
relationship.
sometimes it won't work out. Sometimes it will overlap, but it's not the end of the world,
Mhm,
right? There's always tomorrow, and that's
mhm,
like sort of the reality that I'm living in now. It's like not stressing about the day to day, but also not getting overwhelmed with the future because that also overwhelms me a lot. Like it's scary. Like even though the growth has been ridiculously great, it's scary to think of like is Rocket League gonna be relevant in 2 years?
mm.
Um, I know that SSG just re-signed for 2 years, so that's promising.
I
And
think Rocket League will be relevant in 2 years. I think you're good there.
definitely,
But it's definitely
yeah.
something to think about. I mean, I think a lot of a lot of people in my life from way back in the day who don't really get esports, they're not esports people, which is fine. But they'll ask me like, "Do you commentate other games? You just commentate Rocket League? Are you serious? You don't mix it up a little? What if Rocket League just dies? Why aren't you doing stuff for other games as well?" It's like always the number one question that people from my older friends who aren't they don't know Rocket League, they don't know esports, they don't know YouTube.
Right.
They always ask this, and they're probably right in a way that it is kind of like a bit all in. But it's for me, it's just like trying to do what you enjoy, and if in the future I don't enjoy this anymore, I'll try and find something I do enjoy, or if
But
in the future this is viable.
it's not like you ask a guy who works at a company, like, when I worked at an engineering firm, it's not like I'm gonna go like, someone's not gonna be like, "Oh, but what if that
Yeah,
company
well, what if
also
the
takes."
company? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It never happens. It only happens for esports. So they'll be like, "Wait, so YouTube? Do you get paid for YouTube?" Like, it's just something that people don't know about, which is fine. So you always have to answer these silly questions. But
I think
yeah,
that's going to
it
change
is
in
something
like
to think about.
2 years. It'll be everybody will know.
It's mainstream,
It's
yeah,
pretty
even people
mainstream
that
now.
have never heard of it. My grandparents watch Twitch, so that just
Really,
yeah, that just tells you. Yeah,
cool.
so that they're it's
Maybe they're
coming
watching
around.
now.
I think it's definitely with the pandemic too, like, it's become a lot more relevant for a lot of people. Streaming
True.
is kind of the
Yeah.
way to connect with others, so
Mm-hmm.
it's been,
Yes, it's a big one. So I wanted to ask you one more thing. I know you got to go soon, but just quickly, how do you deal with maybe the demotivating effect of there not being map support in Rocket League yet? And I say yet not because I know of something in the future, just because it isn't in there yet. So,
I mean,
yeah, how have you handled that?
basically we think you'll crack them at some point, I guess.
so
Yeah,
can I be
yeah.
honest with you? It's a double-edged sword because
Uh-huh.
making it hard to do means it's sort of a monopoly for me right
Mm.
now.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's not like the end of the world. Obviously, I want it to happen. I would love for more people to be enjoying it, but it's not the end of the world. Like I just look at it this way. It's like I'd love for this to be a thing, but
Hmm.
as long as it's not, people want to see new maps from my videos. So I'll take it as it is.
Hmm.
I'd prefer it to be supported though, so I can do Twitch streams with random events of beer pong or something, like just silly stuff like that.
Yeah, it
So
would be awesome. I mean, I remember you asked me recently if I would cast Garrett and Mile and them on the hockey map, and oh my goodness, it was so funny. Like, it was just the
That was
funniest thing.
hilarious.
It
Like
was
that was so
absolutely
good.
brilliant. It's just like it's brand new, it's fresh. It's just something that everybody.
It's pretty
can
dumb, not
do.
gonna lie. Like it's a dumb
It
game
was,
mode.
it was
but
quality. Like the
it
Garrett
was
G
just-
own goals, who comms listening to Garrett G wheezing at his own goals. It was just insane.
Like they were all having fun. They all messaged me afterwards saying that was like the most fun they've had in a while. And it's like
It was
just
some of the
silly
most fun
stuff.
I'd have casting. Like I really still enjoy Rocket League casting a lot, but that was easily some of the most fun I've had casting a game. And so many, I couldn't believe how many people tuned in. It was like 30 minutes. Like, why are there thousands of people already?
Yeah,
It
it
was
was
insane.
great. Yeah, they were looking
really
forward
cool.
to it. I'm glad. I want to do more with that. We should definitely collab in the future with some other stuff like that too.
100%. Yeah, 100%.
But thanks for having me, guys. That was a lot of fun. I do have to get going because it's 4 minutes until she shows up. So I don't know
Yeah,
how
you gotta
fast of a
run
shower I
that.
can have.
We don't want to get you in trouble.
Yeah. Yeah, thanks, guys.
Yeah, I just want to ask you one rapid fire question before you go.
Sure.
So answer this in less than 15 seconds. How do you make maps?
How do I make maps?
How do I make maps? Sorry, go ahead.
There's a program called Unreal Development Kit, UDK. It's an old,
Too long, cut off. That you're gonna have to work on the answer. You have to work on the answer for that, man. That's gotta be like a tip.
Elevator answer.
Hey, maybe my sister can help you because she's making maps for me now.
That's
so
right. Yeah, you said that. That's
yeah.
awesome. That's awesome. Well, hey,
That's a story for another day.
Thank you very much for coming on the podcast. Thank you also for not streaming because your crazy mods came in here and just dropped tons of subs on me. I literally have had my biggest sub day ever just now, and I said
No problem, man. That's what my supporters
like
do.
33 words on the podcast tonight. It was just you and Johnny talking, and I'm just
Yeah,
back
you're
here
just like
going,
speechless.
Just we're spreading the love over here.
just getting paid by Leth mods. So thank you very much, sir. Hey, chat, you don't have to go away. Johnny and I are going to hang out and play some video games if you want to chill. And also, I'm going to let you, chat, pick out which wine I drink tonight. And it can be a nice one, actually, after this. I mean, Jesus, let's go.
Celebrate.
Anyway, Leth, thank you so much for having us,
No,
buddy.
thank you. That was a blast.
We'll have you on
Appreciate
again
it.
some other time. We can go a bit deeper.
Sounds
Later,
good.
Leth.
Have a good one, guys.
All right,
See ya.
man. See ya. That is going to do it for the Lethamyr episode, folks. Super good episode. I'm sure you enjoyed it. We're hoping to have him on the podcast again in the future. We went ahead and put together this playlist of Saltcast episodes for you to enjoy. So keep watching the Saltcast. These are going to take you over to my other channel while we're filling this channel up with all the other episodes. Make sure you subscribe there as well. But please keep enjoying the Saltcast episodes. And in the comments, let us know who you want to see on the Saltcast in the future. We do have another episode coming up with Ravina as well. So exciting stuff. Thanks again, folks.